diggity, diggity dog. Breaking, diggity, diggity dog. Breaking.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Hot Dog and a Handshake, presented by the Simply Reliable Studios and the Wrestle Collective. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams, joined, as always, by Carlos. How are we doing today, Carlos?
Good, man. It was a nice day. It's nice and sunny here in California. I guess you live in Southern California. Went and saw the new Scream movie today. Got some good food in me. It's been a good day.
Right on. I still need to see the new Scream. It's been a little bit since I've been to the theaters, but went and did the laundry today. As you said, it was a nice sunny Southern California day, Cali day. But enough about the weather. We're here to discuss independent pro wrestling. And where would you like to start for this month?
So let's start with Prestige Championship Wrestling. They had their last show this past month. Also on that show was Kevin Blackwood. Kevin Blackwood retired, so it was a double whammy. He wrestled Judas Icarus for the Prestige Championship, and they went off in a real bang. Again, it's I want to just thank Kevin Blackwood again. He's somebody who was in the car accident with Daniel Garcia. Wasn't sure if he could ever wrestle again, and he came back to have a great career. And to me, he's one of those talents that it's like, sometimes it's just about who you know. There's no reason why he couldn't have been in AEW killing it just like everybody else. But for some reason, he never got signed there. But at the same time, he never was bitter about that. He went and did his thing in the independents, and he had a really good career up and down the coast, wrestled all around the world. And again, I hope he's happy with his decision. And he seemed to come to terms with it. Like, he was really emotional, coming to the ring, and it was really sad. But again, I thank them. I thank Prestige Wrestling. They're out of Portland. They followed me on X. That's not the reason why, but it's like just one of those ones that really made me start to appreciate. Sometimes you need to. People want to sit there and shit on something and go, oh, it's kind of the production's low and stuff like that. But it's not about that, guys. It's about like a promoter getting the bang for their buck and putting something on television that you should be honored to watch. Again, these guys are going out there performing just like they were if they were performing in a stadium full of 50,000 people. Hello, hot take. They're giving their all to it. They're out there, putting their heart and soul in these things, and it's a very cool crowd in there. It reminds me of the old territory, the Young Bucks used to wrestling with Excalibur. Just the energy, the fans are up there banging on the thing. It's just a really good time, and I'll miss it. Hope they come back, but if not, thank you for the memories, Prestige Championship Wrestling. Again, the people that killed it there is, again, it was another one would be oh my gosh, having a brain fart. Alan Angels, killed it over there, and seeing all these other people, the Midnight Heat, Sinner Insane as a tag team, like I said, Icarus was the one who retired as champion there. Just really good stuff. If you haven't caught it yet, go support it. Go put a comment on their YouTube. Maybe your comment will be something that makes them want to come back. But it was nothing bad. Again, also when what's his name got booked. What's the guy's name with the allegations? Joey Ryan. They're the ones that went and put that. They went and put the free show because they were taking a stand for what's right. And I just a beautiful promotion. Sounds like a good promoter. Motor City Machine Guns wrestled there too. Just lots of good stuff. Just thank you for the memory, Prestige. Thank you for the memory, Kevin Blackwood. You went out on top, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I missed that last show. I think we were covering something else across the networks, which is why we missed it. But definitely always sad when a promotion folds. Didn't cover Prestige a whole heck of a lot, but we did do a few different watch-alongs for them when it fit into our schedule. I was a little bit surprised that they didn't put Blackwood over in the final match. It was like the company is folding anyway. So for the company to end and him to retire as champion, I feel would have been like a nice little gesture, because I know Blackwood kind of made a home there. So it would have been, significant for the company to go down and him to retire as champion, but on the other side of the coin, I'm kind of glad they didn't go for that, knee-jerk title change. Icarus has done a lot of hard work. I'm a big fan of his in Sinner and Saint, so I'm glad they let him go ahead and go over as well.
But I think maybe it's one of those things where, like, I hear you're saying, but I think it's a time-honored tradition, in AEW, and that's been the conversation too. That a lot of times going out on your back it's a cool thing, and it's probably what you wanted to do. But also, I think if they decide they want to come back, then you want to have a champion that can probably defend your title. So that's why they probably would have kept on Icarus. But again, I also just I think it's about rewarding his work, and again, like just a lot of good wrestling there, man. Again, I'm gonna miss it. But I'll go give that time to another independent show for sure.
Definitely. Running off of that, let's go ahead. We'll discuss Matt Tremont here. There's been a lot going down with Matt Tremont this past month. Part of why I chose him for our graphic, our thumbnail. Valentine's Day show that I was at for GCW, he was supposed to have a match with Cruel. And the bell sounded. Tremont was yelling for the crowd to get on their feet and everything. Cruel goozled him, tried to throw him over the top rope, and Tremont just collapsed in the ring. Like, everyone swore he was injured. We had been hearing about nagging back injuries going into this match. And we're like, holy crap, what's going on here? And I still am not 100% convinced that it was a full work, because of somebody of Matt's age, the type of wrestling he does. I can believe that there are some kind of lingering injuries. But he ended up coming back a couple weeks later, GCW baller blocking. He came back the night before at What's My Name, made comments towards Otis Cogar, who had dethroned him for the Ultraviolent Championship. And Otis basically told him, you've got your shot tomorrow, but if you don't show up, if you can't wrestle, it's back of the line. And against Doctor's wishes, against Brett Lauderdale's wishes, against his wife's wishes, he still showed up, went out there to the ring to take on Otis Cogar, and Vandal 48 just ambushed him. Crucified him, duct taped his wrists to the top rope, and just started beating the ever-living snot out of him with light tubes and everything. It was just vicious. The irony of all this is that myself and our producer for today, James, had just finished a conversation not long before this angle took place comparing Atticus Cogar, the GCW champion, to Raven, because we were making comments about how he's just got the psychological part of professional wrestling down, and Vandal 48 really kind of feels like his flock. And GCW always gets these comparisons to ECW, and if you think about the whole Raven crucifying the Sandman angle, which Kurt Angle was there for when it happened, there was this whole thing about if any of the Kurt Angle footage gets used on that broadcast, there'll be lawsuits and everything. To have this conversation and then to see Atticus and his family crucify Tremont in this way was just mind-numbing to both of us, I think, because it's so rare that that type of thing happens. And now, and if he wants to pop in real quick for voiceover, James can, because I wasn't there for this most recent episode of GCW. But I'm hearing that it's going to be title opportunity versus career in Atlantic City next week.
Yes.
If Napier wins, Tremont has to retire. Napier is the cousin of Atticus and Otis Cogar. If Napier wins, Tremont has to retire. If Tremont wins, he gets an ultraviolet title shot. Is that correct?
That is correct. They announced that literally right after the challenge was issued. They did a really good job, with this angle. It made Vandal 48 look like killers, like that you don't want to mess with them at all. Genuinely speaking, they, with this whole segment, have become one of my favorite acts. It felt like a deathmatch version of the NWO, and I mean that with the greatest respects. Felt like they just ran the roost over there. They had their way with the icon of the shit. And to be honest, I mean, I mentioned it in the comments, but like Tremont as a promo, fantastic. One of the best promos in indies right now. I'd say probably top 5 in the world right now. I think he's genuinely that good. I know everybody sees me cringe when I see his matches, but genuinely speaking, watch any Matt Tremont promo, you would be very shockingly surprised in a good way. Loved the angle that they shot here. I can't wait to see Napier versus Tremont, and I'm not like the biggest deathmatch guy, but I watch it. They got me excited and looking forward to this deathmatch with career versus title opportunity on the line. I'm really looking forward to this angle and how they build up to it coming into spring break.
See, and that's my thing is like looking at all this on the surface, I can't see Tremont retiring when we're this far, this close to spring break, which is like their big WrestleMania show. He's already announced for cards in Vegas. Like, did they kind of give away the result of this by announcing him for these shows so quickly?
And predictability is not always a bad thing. If you could book it well, and I think they did this time, I don't mind. That's me. Carlos, did you see any of this segment? What did you think of it, my guy? Or did you see anything coming up from the Vandal 48 and Tremont stuff? Carlos?
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I'm sorry. I didn't see this episode. But I wrote his name down, and I'll definitely check it out because again, I take you guys' word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And GCW is one of those things where it takes me. I need to get into it more. I do watch it sometimes, but it's definitely something that I need to get more into.
No, I hear it. Yeah. I'll say this to you as producer man, right? It took me a bit to get into it too, but once I got into it, I'm like, oh shit, they're actually telling some stories. So if you actually
they do good storytelling, you know. Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And that's the thing I want people, because I have seen shows too, and the perception of it, it's not all hardcore matches, it's not all death matches. Like a lot of times, like there might be one, but a lot of the times the card is literally goes to people who are busting their ass trying to get a contract in a bigger stage, or people who don't have that contract yet. Like you get so much wrestling there on GCW. Like I've seen plenty of shows in the past, and there's a lot of great workers on the shows. You definitely, like if they're in your area, if you have a chance to watch it, definitely do, because it is a lot. It is really good. It is a lot. But then I just didn't see anything. I didn't see this stuff for this month, but I definitely have watched it. And it definitely is worth a watch.
Yeah, a lot of the misconception just on the independents in general is that independent wrestling doesn't really do storytelling. You know, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to get people into your shows. So there's really not this whole consistency with storytelling in independent wrestling, I think is a huge misconception. And here's a few different promotions, you know, GCW being one of them, House of Glory being one with what they're doing with Zilla Fatu and his cousin Lance Anoa'i. You know, there are, you know, stories being
reality of wrestling, Ohio Valley Wrestling as well. They do a lot of storytelling as well. Alpha One Wrestling. There's plenty of stories being told. But also, if you watch it, you'll get the story. You know, like that's part of it too. The more you watch and support it, there will be stories that you'll understand.
100%. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where this goes from here, how this all plays out. But they're doing some big things right now, and you know, just while on the topic of Vandal 48, Megan Bain came to this show at the end of February. You know, she's kind of been out of the GCW loop for a while because Tony's been using her so heavily on AEW television. But she came to the same show that Tremont was crucified at and challenged Atticus for the world title. I think it was the match prior to the crucifixion or like 2 matches before. And Atticus, to his credit, man, he made Megan, not that Megan Bain needs to look like a monster because she's already like an Amazonian goddess in her figure and we know how powerful she is. But Atticus made her somehow look even more badass to the point where he had to grab her mother, who was in the front row, and hold her hostage like he was about to start stabbing her with his trademark skewers to make Megan verbally quit to retain the championship.
Nice.
Like, again, the going back to the psychology. This kid is only 28 years old.
Yes.
And he gets it.
Yeah. Dude, when he did that to Megan, that was so fucking peak. Excuse my French, but oh my God.
James was losing his crap, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
yes, Atticus, do it.
Dude, I was like, what are you doing? This is rude. That is like ultimate rudo behavior, bro. Like that was awesome.
But I'm here for it because, again, it factors into the storytelling and the bigger storyline that's going on.
That's what the
right
mom
now.
gets for being at the show, you know?
Yeah. I mean, she was only out there for the one match. Like, they literally put a chair next to the dude that was on the aisle in the front row just so she could sit down and watch it. But it was what it was, man. It was great storytelling.
The views of Carlos Estrada and the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams, do not reflect those of the Simply Reliable Studios.
Right?
Stay home, old lady.
Hey, when you go to a wrestling event, especially an independent wrestling event, and you sit in the front row, especially when there's no guardrails, you run certain risks. I'm just saying, and especially when it's a promotion that is known for extreme violence like GCW, you run risks. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. But just shout out again to give Megan Bain flowers too. Like, she's killing it everywhere. Again, this is a woman who has a contract with AEW, and she's wrestling all around the world. She wrestled in Stardom this past Friday at the CMLL All Women's Show. Again, shout out to Women's History Month. Women's International Day was this past Sunday. She wrestled Olympia in a banger match, and she holds nothing back. Like, it was a meat match. I love a good meat match, men or women's. Like again, Megan Bain's killing it around the world. If she's in your area, you have your chance to see her. She doesn't have to do this, but she does it for the love of the game. Like, go see her and support her. She's badass.
100%. I could not agree with you more, Carlos. She's one that I'm really hoping, whether it's in LA or in Vegas, that I hope I get to meet. Because I want to see how tall she is in person. Like, I already feel like looking at her like she's going to tower over me, especially with her headdress. But I'm curious to see like how neck and neck we are in reality. Damn right, Grumpy. Good to see you in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of all women's shows, why don't you go ahead and touch on the Eve show? And if you want to get a little bit more in the CMLL one, you can.
Yeah, so this past week again, I like again when someone does a women's show and they do it for the right reasons. Like again, we all know WWE did Evolution Part 2 last year, but they only did it because they wanted a coloring program all in weekend. And there was literally fans that were like, man, if I could have been, I wish it was a different weekend because I could be at both shows. Like this past Eve show, the past CMLL show, you had two women's shows that literally were.
Carlos.
Uh-oh.
Carlos.
Carlos's service got nervous.
No! Carlos, right when I was about to use the graph. No! Carlos! There
I'm
we
back?
go. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
All right.
Your service got nervous
But
for
yeah,
a second,
got
bro.
nervous. Yeah, talking about women's wrestling. Oh my gosh, stop this man. But no, but it was again a really great match, like which between Charlie and Statlander. Again, like, and I tell people again, everybody has a voice, right? If you want Charlie signed to AEW, go sign up and pay the $12.99. I think it is to watch this show. Like, buy a T-shirt, like let your voice be heard. Like, even you had Osprey and those guys, like, because I think it was might have been Ace Humphries, a friend of mine, like putting like she be signed, and Osprey's is post quote tweeting it saying sign her. Like, these kind of shows, like showing out and let them do record numbers, like showing that getting the engagement is a way to get them signed. Again, very happy for her. She was fighting. She's been trying to come back. Just I can only imagine the frustration of the injury that she's had to deal with. Shout out to Penelope Ford too, who's kind of dealing with the same thing. Like, remember, these talents are these people are human beings too, and protect their mental health and celebrate them when they get to do their craft. But yeah, it was a great show. Again, Mercedes Monet, again too, even though she's on AEW, let's shout out right now too. She's out there wrestling these shows too. She dropped the CMLL title to Persephone in a hell of a match, that main event of the show. Again, out there, she dropped another title out there, I think in Italy this weekend. Always, again, like, and I'll say this too, Tony Khan too, again, we should get more women's matches on the show, but Tony Khan really is funding women's wrestling right now. He's giving all these women amazing contracts, allows them to go wrestle around the world, where they can go do this and still enjoy good quality of life. If you guys haven't seen them yet, please support these shows. Again, Osprey is producing this show. Again, a lot of great action on the show. Willow was on there as well. Again, just a great night for women's wrestling, a celebration of it. Again, if you want to hear more about it, Queen's Road episode 5 just dropped this past Sunday on the Wrestle Collective channel. Hannibal, that Limelight stealer. He was there live, and again, he gave a beautiful wrap up of it. Please go check it out and hear from the words of someone who was there. It was just a really fun night and a big victory for women's wrestling.
Yeah, 100%. I love seeing these shows that just support and promote and empower women in professional wrestling. That's part of why we got involved with the Poder Mania that's coming up in Vegas. Mm-hmm. We had done the watch along for that last year and enjoyed it so much that when we started seeing the announcements for this year, we wanted to try to get the word out as best as we could. And God knows we've been featuring like almost 10 women, I think, on that card over the course of the 2 months going into that show. So,
well, the other thing too about the Eve show as well, and I'm sure this is going to be the same with the Poder Mania, especially if they're going to, hopefully same energy. That Eve show, like, everybody wanted to be there, and you could tell. Like, I've seen clips of the show, and it was just a racket. It looked like such a fun time. Like, I wanted to be there for something like that. So, guy or girl, like, you should definitely go to one of these shows, especially an all-women's show, because especially when you get the caliber of talent that was on that show, there's something magical in the air when something like that happens.
And so what you're saying, like, that was the thing, even when watching Evolution, like, the production value was different. Like, they only used a couple of cameras. Even when you're watching, like, Evolution, it felt like a less than show, right? And that's the thing I appreciated about the E show and also about the CMLL show. Like, the CMLL show, as someone who's watched CMLL on a Friday night, the production was the same. They still have the women go-go dancers out there. Like, the crowd was electric for the whole show, and it didn't, like, because they were just enjoying the wrestling. It doesn't matter men or women, and that's something that I love to see too. And even like me going to a show like AEW, like, seeing the difference in a year of the energy these women are getting, like, support these women because they put their heart and soul into it. Like, even with the women's wrestling, like, it's a lot more of like they want to elevate each other. They want to lift each other up. You can see that when they wrestle. Like, you can see Mercedes almost in tears when she's losing to Persephone because she's so happy to see her crowd. It meant a lot to Statlander to go out there and make Charlie look good and try to help her get a contract. Like the women really is.
We're having technical issues again, but yeah, no. To Carlos's point, like it feels like almost like a women's kind of frat party, and you get to kind of be front row for these kind of things. Like it's so awesome to see when they get like when they're doing a really damn good job and they're getting the W. You know what I mean? Like it's so awesome to see. It's really cool.
Yeah, to Carlos's point, like sometimes the women seem like they're putting more into it than the men on the same card. Like with the exception of when Thunder Rosa comes out and gives the boo boo face because we know she's gonna lose. Like the women go out there and sometimes give 150%, where the guys are maybe only giving 100, 110 best.
Mm-hmm.
Like because the women want to be given more of these opportunities, so they go out there and they make sure that they do everything they can to steal the show.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
You still there, Carlos? You look like you're frozen.
He got frozen again. Yeah,
Okay. Damn it.
Cerberus being nervous all day. You love it. Well, if nothing else, we'll go on to the next thing that you wanted to talk about, JJ, until Carlos gets back. To Grumpy's comment though, I wonder if Rosa knows she gives that face away so bad. yeah, yeah, accurate. That's fair. Yeah, I know, brother. It's okay. We got you. We covered.
Usually I'm the one that has the technical issues. Ask James.
You know, I live by a tower too, man. Like, what's going on tonight, man? Sorry for amateur hour today, guys. I apologize.
No, you're
It's all
fine, brother.
good.
Don't worry.
Shout out to the 90 plus of y'all that are joining us right now as we discuss independent pro wrestling. I love to see stuff like that. So moving on, James was going to have me talk next. I guess we'll go ahead and we'll discuss Charles Mason winning the Jersey J Cup because I know he wanted me to cover that. Charles Mason, man, is another one of those, I love to call him, he's such a maniacal son of a bitch. And he had already lost an I Quit match to Billy Starks. So it was like, how are we going to get Charles Mason back to the title picture? Because that's a feud ender. Well, it just so happened that the Jersey J Cup tournament, the title was on the line throughout the tournament. And Billy was in it, defending it every step of the way. So the finals of the tournament ended up being Charles versus Billy. And that's how we got back to it. And there was no pulling back this time. Charles Mason won the Jersey J Cup, won the championship. You love to see it, even when it's a dastardly, diabolical villain like Mason is. And the positive out of all of it is the fact that he's already defended it once at a GCW show. He's defending it again in Atlantic City at a GCW show because Game Changer runs shows way more often than Jersey Championship Wrestling does. It's basically a sister promotion, kind of like NXT to WWE or ROH to AEW. They're kind of connected, even though they're separate. But Billy Starks wasn't doing that. Because, again, Tony Khan was using her so much. Masha Slamovich was doing it when she was champion, and then the issues that surrounded Masha occurred and took the belt away from her. Billy won it. So it's nice to see the JCW title being defended at GCW shows, which happen way more frequently. So there's definitely a positive coming out of this from Mason. Mason, of course, the House of Glory champion as well. And I believe he has a championship for one other company. I'm not sure which one it is. I should have had that ready for me, but huge shout out to Charles Mason. Did you get to see any of the Jersey J Cup, which occurred over 2 nights?
I did not, but I did watch Hog Wrestling. I love Hog Wrestling. The Acclaim again. If you guys have wondered what happened to the Acclaim storyline, like I have in AEW, Tony dropped it. Tony dropped it after it got worse. Worst storyline of the year by the Wrestling Observer reader. So heaven forbid he finished the storyline. Again, you can see the Acclaim, Private Party, Charles, all these guys in Hog Wrestling. Santana was a former champion there. I love.
Oh boy.
Not
again. Oh,
Raggy.
Raggy. Oh my God, poor guy. I will say this for anybody that wants to watch the Jersey J Cup, and if you
It's
are
free on YouTube.
it's free on YouTube. Number one,
On the GCW YouTube channel, so just go to that and you can find it.
I
Both
think on the
nights.
Jersey Championship Wrestling YouTube channel too. There we go, Carlos, you're back.
Okay. Hold on, James. Let Carlos finish what he was saying.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
go
go
for
back to it because he was talking about how much he loves House of Glory.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I love House of Glory. Again, a lot of great wrestlers there. They get a lot of good talent there. Amazing Red has done an amazing job with that promotion against Santana. That's where he kind of first got over. That was his transition to being TNA champion. That you get to utilize a lot of AEW stars there. They have good relationships with people, and I mean honestly, when you look at independent wrestling, like look for those promotions that get to use multiple stars. That tells you that multiple promotions. That tells you right there that's a good promoter, and that tells you right there that's a promotion that you should make sure they keep their doors open. So when you're seeing a promoter who's going to use talent from multiple promotions, getting to have getting to have J Cup championships, getting to see the GCW wrestlers go after their championships, like obviously tells you that's a good promoter, and that's an independent wrestling promotion that you should give your dollars to and give your time to.
Not to make it sound like I'm bashing, but you look for the independent companies that really bring the Forbidden Door aspect to it.
Yep.
Like you said, House of Glory, they use AEW stars, they use TNA stars. We've seen WWE ID talent on those shows.
Yep.
So there's all three major companies represented within one independent promotion. You get Ring of Honor, or you'll get New Japan, or you'll get CMLL talent on these shows. So you keep your eyes peeled for these companies, to Carlos's point, because those are the true Forbidden Doors. No disrespect to what Tony does, but they're all within his partnership. Whereas these independent companies, you can really get WWE and AEW on the same card, which is what people really want out of a Forbidden Door.
Another thing I want to add as well, speaking of the Forbidden Door aspect, because we saw a lot of that as well in the Jersey J Cup, just to go back to that real quick. I will recommend something specifically for Grumpy and any other New Japan head. If you're a fan of tournament wrestling and you want something to watch, I promise you, Jersey Championship Wrestling's Jersey J Cup this year, the best tournament that I've seen in North American wrestling, period. Bar none. The matches were outstanding, especially in the first and second round. Some of the best action you will see, especially when you got like technicians like Ryan Clancy in there. You're bound to have a great tournament, but I'm telling you, go out of your way to check out this tournament. I couldn't say enough good things about it.
And to kind of bring things back full circle to one of the things you talked about earlier, Carlos, with Judas Icarus, one of the best tag team matches I've seen, definitely this year on night 2, Busta and the Brain really signed to AEW versus Sinner and Saint.
It was so
damn.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't go watch that. Yeah, I didn't watch that.
We just sold Carlos.
Yeah,
brother, I'm there. I'll go watch this. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was so good.
Sold.
And I
mean, that's the idea of the show, guys. Like, I mean, like again, we want to like challenge each other, and we want to see like to go watch more independent wrestling. That's the whole idea too. I'm trying to get to that point. I'm trying to watch it. Like I literally, because I was trying to fit the time in for the CMLL show. But I still had an assignment to do with SmackDown. I literally just put SmackDown on the background. And I was watching the CMLL show because I only had so much time to give. So I was getting my little stampede on a little bit. Watching 2 shows at once kind of thing. Because sometimes you guys just do what you got to do. And I was just trying to pay attention the best I could. But there's a lot of great content, and I keep saying that this what a time to be a pro wrestling thing. Like there's again with YouTube, so many great talents out there. You have a promotion where that wrestlers are getting paid well in AEW. They're allowed to wrestle even for WWE, giving us little sprinkles of worse wrestling for Bloodsport, things like that. It's again when they do something like that, you gotta kind of tell thank you because you might not see it again. So, thank you really, Pete, that being Bloodsport. Thank you for allowing the Natty character to be developed on Independence. It's a fun thing for us wrestling fans, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's appreciated.
Oh, 100%. You know, to your point, the whole Natty character, so near and dear to my heart. But that, now we're getting into TV wrestling, and that's not independent. But to your point, it was something that was cultivated on the independent scene. So gotta love the fact that that was able to happen.
Yeah.
What do you have queued up there, James?
Well, I figured since you guys were talking about House of Glory, you'd talk
Oh,
about
yes.
these shows real quick, specifically involving this man who I know, Carlos, you're a big fan of, Mr. Starboy Charlie.
So,
Yes, that
really quick,
that was a show
congratulations,
I was
Starboy
there for.
Charlie. Yes.
Go ahead,
Starboy Charlie
Carlos.
just got ID'd. Starboy Charlie got his ID, got ID'd, so he's now on the WWE payroll. Long overdue. You know, shame on you, TNA, for not signing him when you got your money. You know, it is what it is. But again, he's deserved a contract. I'm really happy for him. Like, I love Starboy Charlie. Huge congrats out to that man. Again,
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
yes, right there, yes.
Same. Starboy
I love
Charlie is
that tag
someone
team.
that I
Yep,
came to see him on the GCW
the Crush
shows.
Boys. The Crush
Saw him.
Boys.
Yep, saw him on some of the GCW shows. Really became a fan of his work as well. Enjoyed getting to see him at that House of Glory show live. Just told the person that I was there with because they knew very little about the independent wrestling. They were just there for basically Andrade in the main event. And I was like, pay attention to this kid. And sure enough, shortly after that, he ended up getting ID'd. So huge shout out to Starboy Charlie.
Yeah, huge shout out to House of Glory Wrestling. I'll say this: they've had a couple of banger shows lately, because especially the last three, I think, from back to back to back. Although the first one didn't air, and if you know, you know. but
Hush, James.
but
Since
watching the show back, it was actually really really good.
Since we brought up House of Glory, I do want to ask you this, Carlos. And James, go ahead and mute yourself because I already know your answer to this.
Oh, okay, I know what's coming.
I'm curious to know, Carlos, since you do enjoy House of Glory, a very controversial man came back to the announce position. What do you think about JD coming back?
Why? Like why? Especially if Mercedes wanted to work your show and she refused to, because until that man was taken off of there. Like, you got Ricochet, he calls him a piece of shit. Like those are two people that work independence that I would love to have on my show. Like, there's just no need for it. I get that it's heat and it's cheap heat, and he gets to go out there and you want him to embarrass him, but he embarrasses himself with a stupid mouth. So let it be an inside job. Don't give this guy any more of a platform than he has to be given already. And again, and to his credit, he knows his audience. He's playing a character. I mean, he went from being all about AEW to being only about WWE. He's going to where the money's at. We all know that if you talk about WWE, that's going to give you more. That's going to get you more impressions. So he's pretty much a sellout, just trying to do whatever he can to get a dollar. He's a gimmick.
I want to ask.
I think. Hold on, James.
Yeah, go for it.
I asked you to mute yourself.
I'll mute
because I already know how you feel about this.
I was going to ask him a question, but yeah, go for it.
I want to come back to something you said there because I think it's very important for fans to keep in mind when they see him. He's playing a character.
Absolutely.
He's no different than any other performer you see in the ring on any given night of the week on a wrestling show. And people need to keep that in mind because the more angry they get, the more vitriol they spew online, the more power they give him.
Absolutely.
That you always hear in professional wrestling that if you cheer, they're doing their job. If you boo, they're doing their job. If you're quiet, that's when there's a problem. So just stop reacting to him. If he's at a show that you're at and you don't like that he's part of the company, don't give him a reaction. That's the best reaction you can give him, is none. I personally find myself entertained by him. but I also grew up in an era with Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern, and I enjoyed them. At the end of the day, he's wrestling's version of that. He's a shock jock. He's a character. Just remember that, everybody. Now, if you had a question, James, go ahead and ask him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Carlos, because you mentioned you and I are on the same wavelength, but I did want to ask a question about this because it was like one of the big talking points from the indie scene, at least for those last 72 hours when it initially happened. So much so that I know that Andrew talked about it and everything on No Dirt. Do you think that if JD like came out there and like sincerely apologized for the reason Mercedes had him removed on the commentary, that it would have lessened the impact, or do you think he would have gotten a visceral reaction either way? And then JJ, you can answer after Carlos, because it's kind of a question of both of you, but I wanted to get Carlos's thoughts on that first.
He would have still got the same reaction because again, like we already said, your mind's already made up about him, you know. Then to your point, like Andrew calls him a friend, and I trust Andrew's judgment, and so that's why I even say like he's playing a character, and he's playing the part to get the money, like he's being a bad guy. So like to what JJ said, I don't give him the time of day like that. I'm not going to engage with him. I'm not going to retweet his stuff or comment because that's what he wants. I don't let him get to me. But I don't think it would have mattered because at the same time he would have went back to his old stick the next week. He had the next podcast, and it would be all for nothing. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, and I respect, you know, if Amazing Red thinks that he's going to sell tickets and he's something for him, then hey, then have him on there. But, you know, and again, he's a talent. He's somebody, he's just trying to make a living at it. Just the same way that Cornette, I don't let Cornette get to me either because he knows his audience and he caters to it, just like Bischoff does now. They're catering to their audience because the people that pay the bills, period. And so don't let them get to you because they're saying what they want. They want their majority of people to hear at the end of the day.
100%. And as somebody who does listen to him, he does crap on both companies equally. You know, so it's not like he just picks a side. He may have been more pro one, anti the other at one point, but lately the stuff that I've seen, he's really been ripping both of them to crap. But that's neither here nor there because that's television wrestling, not independent wrestling.
I did want to ask, and this is the question. I know your answer to this, JJ. Carlos, were you aware that he was like helping with producing as well? Because I noticed that the last two shows were infinitely better in production quality.
Yeah, I was aware.
Am I the only one that noticed that?
Yes, all the above.
What's really interesting is that, you know, again, when you see him on his streams, he's one way. But if you listen to his commentary, and I actually made a point of not listening to our watch-along commentary back when I watched this most recent Hog show, he is actually very passionate. Like, you can hear him in his commentary, the passion he brings to the commentary. So, again, it's almost like separating the man from the character.
What a lot of people do with Howard Stern, to your point.
Exactly. So,
yeah, fair enough. Speaking of Hog,
I see you have one more image loaded up there. Go ahead and bring that up.
Yes, the man that holds the Crown Jewel Championship, Zilla Fatu.
Dude, okay, have you heard the match that this dude is booked for in Vegas?
Brody King, right?
Yeah, Zilla versus Brody King.
Okay, that match could be big meaty men right there. I like that.
and you know, getting back to what you mentioned a little bit ago about the Acclaimed, it's the Acclaimed versus Main Event at Super Clash.
Yes, that's gonna be a fun show
in 2 weeks. Which that's James's other like tag team of the year. He had them as like 1B to Busta in the Brain as 1A. So the Acclaimed and Main Event. That's going to be
and just
huge.
To segue for that too, like really quick, because James, if you have it up, Zilla Fatu also wrestles in Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's promotion. A big shout out to those guys. They do a lot of great content. They put on an hour show every week. Danny Limelight's the champion there. Zilla's going to be challenging him for the championship in a week or so. I think it's next week. So again, it's an easy watch. Again, they just had like a TLC match because again it's Booker T and it's reality wrestling, so he gets away with a lot of stuff because the WWE affiliates there. Also, over there, you also have great picture right there. He's been champion for a long time. I think he's dropping to Zilla too. Also there, new follower AJ Francis again. Thank you for the follow. He does promo training there. He goes back to the wrestlers there as well. I think that needs to be shouted out because that's not something he has to do. He's doing it because again he loves this business, and I think he deserves a little more flowers than he gets because he gets a lot of hate. But also there, Jesse Funaki wrestles there as well. Jesse Funaki, the son of Funaki, of course, he got his training in Dustin Rhodes' academy, and he's now training, and he's not working reality wrestling. I promise you're going to see Jesse Funaki eventually in AEW or WWE. He gets it. He's very charismatic. His facial expressions, the way he carries himself. That's a guy. Again, if you're looking at it for someone to watch, you want to know someone come up from the very beginning. Start following Jesse Funaki because he's gonna be a future star of wrestling. I promise you that.
Yeah, somebody else that is over at Booker's Academy and reality wrestling.
There he is. Yeah.
That I pay attention to quite a bit is La Princesa Tiffany Nieves.
Yep.
NWA Women's Television Champion. Currently, I believe she still holds it. I'm not sure if she's dropped it because of how far behind the TV.
Yeah, might have been taped a year ago.
But she's actually been doing like some training for the women there at Reality of Wrestling, teaching some classes. Huge shout out.
Haley J's there too. Yep, Haley J from the Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Haley J, yep.
Yeah, Hollywood Haley J there. She's there as well. There's always a women's match, and the thing I would say about them too, just like a lot of times their thumbnail is highlighting the women's matchup for the show. So I think that's really important when they believe in their talent enough to let them be the thumbnail, to let them be what makes you click on their YouTube channel, to make you want to check out their episode. That needs to be shouted out as well. They do a good job of that as well as Fourth Rope. Does that as well. They use a lot of their women talent to promote the show, which I think is a beautiful thing, as well as Ase Wrestling as well.
100%. And I just wanted to shout out Tiffany real quick because last year we interviewed her, and one of the things that we asked her, or that I asked her about, because it was pretty much a one-on-one interview. One of the things I asked her about was, had she ever thought about doing something with Sharmell, since her gimmick is La Princesa and Sharmell was always Queen Sharmell. Towards the end of the interview, she told us on air, and I have the clip to prove it, that she needed to make a phone call because I triggered something in her.
Nice.
And then we started to see the feud play out on TV, and Tiffany Nieves versus Sharmell was the Reality of Wrestling feud of the year last year.
And again,
all started with this guy.
Congratulations, and again, that's beautiful because Sharmell has a lot to offer still. She was one of the best characters. She made King Booker, when he was on that SmackDown run, and when he got that World Championship. She deserves her flowers. I love hearing that.
She gets a lot of flack because she was never really an in-ring competitor. So people are like, well, how is her career Hall of Fame worthy? She didn't wrestle. She didn't do anything. King Booker would not have been what it was without Sharmell, to your point. That is why she is Hall of Fame worthy right there. That couple of year run is all she needed.
Dude, we cover so much wrestling between all the shows we do. I completely forgot, JJ, that you recommended that storyline, and then Reality of Wrestling actually ran with it. That's like super cool because I completely forgot. I can't confirm he did.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's just it's like it's like with all the other crazy shit that's happened since the collective and SRS have started like growing. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Still in contact with Tiffany, by the way, hoping to see her in Vegas. So
yes,
shout out to La Princesa. Cancer survivor. Big time. So always cool to see people excelling in their dreams after overcoming that type of stuff. I think that was it for the main topics. I know you wanted to bring up the one thing, Joe Dorian or whatever.
Actually, I have two more promotions I want to shout out really quick.
Okay, go for it real quick.
Yeah, but before I do that, I want to shout out Alpha One Wrestling. I think it's currently still owned by Ethan Page. They do a lot of fun wrestling on their show. Brandon Cutler was just on there again, getting to wrestle because he has a backstage role. Mark Wheeler was their new Gravity champion. Bryce Hansen defeated Tommy Dreamer to become the new Alpha One champion. They do a lot of fun stuff. Again, I'm one of those people, like, I believe comedy belongs in pro wrestling. I think it's a lot of fun. And it's a promotion that just has a good time. Alpha One Wrestling. It's free on YouTube. They do about a show once a month. Busting the Brain were there before they got signed. A lot of good talent goes through there. Like I said, Moose and all those guys, and just a lot of good Canada talent. Again, there's a lot of good wrestlers in Canada. With Alpha One, another one I'll bring up here shortly as well. Like, support them. They deserve a platform. They deserve to be seen. And I really recommend Alpha One Wrestling. It's a fun watch. Even if you don't know the wrestlers, like, you can just watch it and you'll get the storylines. They do a lot of fun shit there. The other thing I wanted to shout out was Mystery Wrestling, again owned by Evil Uno. Again, thank you for the follow for that as well. But they do a lot of fun stuff. London Lightning was somebody who was recently on In the Weeds on Fightful. The kid has it. I think he played RJ City's son, I think, in back of their independent days. But he's really, really fun talent. He's gonna be wrestling for all the marbles on this coming Saturday against Stu Grayson from the Dark Order. Again, they do a lot of fun stuff there. Psycho Mike, who all of them I'm a big fan of as well. It's just a lot. Again, I think MJS can be at the show this Saturday. They do a lot of fun stuff with Mystery Wrestling, and again, because these guys, we don't get to see them all the way. We don't always get to see them on Ring of Honor television or AEW because there's so much talent there. Like John Morrison was talking about, sometimes it's just your time, sometimes it's not. The fact they get to do these independent shows, again, I'm sure they're probably barely breaking even or even losing money, but they just do it because they want to be able to give these wrestlers the platform that they were given. So please support Mystery Wrestling. Please support Alpha One Wrestling, and discover some new talents that you'll become a fan of. And the final thing, Joe Dorian, guys, if you do not know him, he wrestled in I think, like James saying, Noah. He was recently in TNA. He was a talent in TNA. He had to kind of retire from TNA because he was getting brain tumors, and it was just released. It was just announced today that he's having his third tumor, guys. His family started a GoFundMe for him, and I think James is going to put that on the screen. So if you guys are able to give, again, that's somebody who gave their talent. This is, again, with hearing his story. When I hear about things, like Stephanie DeLander, that's why I kind of think sometimes we do need a union in wrestling, because these guys have medical bills and they go give their hearts and soul on these things and they can't even get it covered at paper for themselves. So if you guys can, please give to that. Again, prayers, thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. Not an easy thing to deal with. Cancer sucks. I volunteered for American Cancer Society for over 10 years. Used to run Relay for Lives. I've helped raise over $1 million for them. So it's something near and dear to my heart. Please give if you can.
Yeah, 100. I echo those sentiments 100%. I lost my grandma and my great grandma on my mom's side about a week or 2 weeks apart back in '97 to cancer, and then my youngest cousin in 2023 to cancer. And then, like I just mentioned, Tiffany Nieves is a cancer survivor, still out here doing her thing. So, huge shout out to those that have overcome, and moment of silence to those that have been lost as a result of it.
Couldn't agree more, brothers. Couldn't agree more. Couple more things. There is one more major story beat, and I know there was one thing that was recommended that we talk about in a shout out for him as well as Ricky Sosa.
So Ricky Sosa just got signed to TNA. A big international talent. And again, shout out TNA. This is what you guys should be doing more of. Again, bring these stars that don't have a platform yet. Allow these guys to get signed. Again, everyone was singing the sentiments of him. I know, like I think the Kevin Knight was singing that he was so happy for him. Again, like it's like wrestling really is a fraternity sorority kind of thing. Please do this more, TNA. Let people discover on the platform you guys have been given. Like, do some good with it and keep signing those guys like a Ricky Sosa, allowing them to be seen. They just recently did their TV tapings, guys. So again, if you're not watching TNA, Thursdays at AMC at 9 o'clock Eastern time, tune in there and discover somebody new in Ricky Sosa and say you were there from the beginning when he got into the US. He's somebody to watch, and I think he's somebody who definitely will eventually enter in TNA or AEW or WWE. Really quick before you give your last thing too, we wanted to shout out MLW again. We kind of had to postpone this for a week. They had their show at the beginning of February. New champion Dijak. Sorry, Karrion Kross is the new champion.
Yes,
won it in a 40-man. Yeah, Killer Kross won it in the 40-man. What do they call that match they do?
Battle Riot.
Battle Riot, yes. And again, I'm always going to be a fan of 40 people getting the payday on an independent show or MLW. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And too, they're bringing back their television stuff. They're going to be on YouTube, so please support them. Kushida just turned heel on that show, and so I'm really excited to see what a heel Kushida looks like. So shout out to Killer Kross. And I love a new character change in the heel Kushida. I want to see it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we were blinded by that because I don't think Kushida has ever been heel, at least not in any promotion that I've ever seen. So definitely curious about that. But yeah, the whole Killer Kross thing, very much reminiscent of late '97 with Rick Rude, because the MLW Battle Riot aired on YouTube via tape delay, and so we're watching Kross win the championship and calling the action, myself and Walter are. And then that show ends and I jump into the Revolver watch along, which is actually live, and Killer Kross shows up there with the MLW championship as James and WrestleFish are doing that watch along. So very much a Rick Rude situation here where one's airing on tape delay, one's airing live, and the same guy is on both shows. And on one of them, he's with the championship. Thankfully, his segment on Revolver aired after he won the title on one show, because otherwise it would have been a bit of a spoiler. But shout out to Killer Kross there, big time, making those moves, showing WWE what they let go of.
To your thing real quick also, Kushida heel turn. And I feel like I don't want to gloss over that because, man, what a breath of fresh air for that kid.
Yes.
He's not a kid. Listen to me, fucking kid. I sound like a goddamn veteran in one of these things. But
look, dude has been doing the whole Back to the Future 2 Marty McFly thing for so long. If he's going to be a heel Kushida, I want him to start being Biff Tannen.
Nice.
Like, run with the Back to the Future thing. Like, totally just go full Biff with it. And especially like that alternate 85 Biff where he kind of had the Trump motif. Just seeing Kushida be that type of arrogant Biff would be so hilarious to me.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool. Yeah. Again, somebody he was in NXT for a long time, never made it to the main roster. Such a crime. But I'm glad, again, I like to see him here being utilized in that contract with MLW and getting, again, I love when a wrestler gives us something we haven't seen before, because he's something I would never thought of as a heel. And it's got me wanting to tune in for the next episode. So kudos to him and kudos to MLW.
And I'm seeing James has one more image that he wants to share. I completely forgot about this as a topic, but kind of bringing things back full circle to GCW. Effie is not fine. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. I don't care, what kind of sob story he tries to lay out there. Effie is not fine. Ever since Effie lost the championship to Atticus Cogar in a triple threat with Charles Mason at the GCW American Dream show in November of last year, he has been on this downward spiral. And at first, it was just kind of amusing to watch. It was like, okay, it's guy that was champion loses belt, tries to get it back. Typical stuff that we've already seen. But then he started to spiral even more and more. And all of his friends are slowly turning against him. Because he's just doing things that Effie normally wouldn't do. You know, he threatened a female timekeeper at ringside. He tried to save his best friend Allie by throwing in the towel, but at the same time he ended up costing her the title opportunity to Atticus Cogar. He's doing stuff to Manders. He cost the Second Gear Crew, his clique, a title opportunity, a tag match against the Cogars this past weekend. Just he's very much in that villain mindset where he feels he's doing the right things, and those villains end up being some of the best villains. He hasn't made the full flip yet. He hasn't made the full heel turn, but you're seeing him doing these things, and he feels he's doing them for the right reasons, and those always make the best villains. So I am here for it. I'm waiting to see what transpires with this Effie. And I always come back to the two biggest ones of, you know, my movie watching, and that's Darth Vader and Thanos. Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side because he wanted to prevent Padme's death during childbirth. And you couldn't learn how to save her from a Jedi. So he was trying to do something positive and ended up being consumed by the darkness. Earth was being destroyed. Thanos wanted to get rid of half the population so the Earth could thrive again and rebuild. Horrible methods to accomplish what he wants, but he wanted to see the Earth kind of regenerate itself and thrive and not slowly be killing itself. Great motives, horrible execution from both men. Two of arguably the greatest villains in movies. I mean, how many Star Wars movies are there? How many Marvel's movies are there that connect to Thanos? Like, seriously.
Yeah, true. To add to your point, and I wanted to add this and kind of sell Carlos on this. Carlos, do you remember the Ric Flair 1999 tantrum that got him into a mental hospital?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're not too far away from that with Effie. Although he does,
Oh, nice.
I will say the angle's better than it was in '99 when Flair did it.
He's not banging girls, is he? He's still gay, right? He still likes the boys.
No. Listen. I'm not sure anymore.
Because that'll be really worried.
Yeah. He might go there. We don't know. Right now, Effie is not fine. I echo the sentiments of my SRS cohort here. I believe he is not fine. He's not fine. He's doing bad.
And the great part is that GCW World actually had a podcast a couple weeks ago where Effie was the guest. Effie gave them like 4 hours of his time. I honestly recommend anyone that's a fan of independent wrestling, storyline be damned, go back and watch this, because it is the type of stuff that you pay money to go sit in a seminar to learn, and dude's just giving it away on a podcast for free 4 hours. But they touch on the angle, and listening to Effie vocalize from his own self where his mindset, the character is through all this, is just chef's kiss. You know, he's going to try to convince you that he is in fact fine. But us that are watching this unfold in real time on television, we can honestly tell you he is not. But it goes back to what I was saying about the villains. And listen to him explain this through his own mouth and his own words. And you'll kind of see where the parallels come from that I just drew with Vader and Thanos. I know James just popped in. I know he still hasn't watched it. I gave him that link like 2 weeks ago to watch. He still hasn't watched it.
I know. I'm horrible. But listen, I know Jeff Meacham somewhere with his Mickey Mouse ears is happy that you just promoted his 2 favorite franchises.
Right? Well, at least 2 franchises owned by his favorite character, Mickey Mouse. But
This is true.
Mickey Mouse, they're out there as Thanos with the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, true.
It's okay, here's ESPN, here's Marvel, here's Fox, here's this, here's this.
Just
Here's WWE.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that's coming. Soon it'll be rated.
Hey, you can go to Disney Plus and watch WWE because ESPN has the pay-per-view rights.
Oh, God
It's all
damn
part of
it.
the bundle.
WWE, don't they?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Oh, no.
You can see Roman Reigns and Mickey Mouse all on the same platform.
Well.
And shout out real quick to Reed Harris Cooper. He's a regular in the GCW World Podcast chat rooms. He's over here for our show this evening. So shout out.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Reed.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you very much. They should. They're still not fun on the first page. This is fine comic. That's good. I like that. Yeah, there's more than 5 pages. True. JJ, with that being said, good sir, you wanted to do one more thing before we get out of here.
Yes. In honor of International Women's Month, you, of course, Carlos, host your own women-centric show, Queens Road. This week, you guys had the Mount Rushmore of women who inspire you as a wrestling fan. So I just really quickly wanted to jump in on that. My 4 women obviously aren't going to be independent wrestling related, so it's the one thing we're going to discuss here on the show that really doesn't tie into the typical hot dog and handshake theme, but I just wanted to get my 4 women in. I wanted to congratulate you. That was a great piece that you guys did yesterday. I watched the show back and was so inspired. I wanted to jump in with my own here. So if you'll go ahead, producer man, and bring up the share screen for my first one, Lita. Lita is definitely one that inspired me. I got to see Amy Dumas originally when she was on ECW TV as Miss Congeniality, and then she made the transition, of course, to WWF as Lita, originally aside S.A. Rios. But just seeing a woman that was so daring and willing to go out there and do these aerial high-fly maneuvers that most women, if we're being honest, traditionally wouldn't attempt. Because there's the stereotype of women being these fragile creatures. And this was the kind of beginning of that shift in the WWF again, from getting away from divas to bringing in real women's wrestlers. So Amy Dumas, Lita is definitely on my list. Next up, producer man, Bianca Belair. I just think that she is a fantastic role model for women, but especially young African American women. It's no secret that I'm not exactly the biggest Mercedes Moné Sasha Banks fanatic, but that match literally made me cry when I saw it the first time. Seeing 2 African American women in the main event of WrestleMania, seeing Bianca win her first championship, and just everything that she represents to the little girls out there, I think is just so good, so admirable. And I just love everything that Bianca does and hope she comes back from her finger injury very soon. Next up, a little bit controversial, I'm sure, but Jade Cargill. She gets such a bad rap for being not the greatest performer, but it doesn't stop her from going out there and trying on a consistent basis. And I think that's what I take from Jade more than anything, is just go out there and try. Fuck what the haters say. You're out there doing what you know in your gut is your best. And she's been made champion of 2 different companies as a result of it. the inaugural TBS champion over in AEW, and she's been a tag and now a world champion for the women over in WWE. She's definitely into cosplay, which won't sit here and say that I've cosplayed a lot in my life, but I have on occasion dressed up as comic book characters. I do have pictures on my Facebook of me dressed as the Riddler from Batman. So shout out to Jade. And then the last one, go ahead and bring it up. Kind of talked a little bit last night in your space post Raw about this young lady, but Thea Hale. 22 years old is this girl. And she just looks like she is having the time of her life out there, whether she's in the match or at ringside every week on NXT. Her performances, her energy, her charisma are part of what captivated me and drew me into a project that everybody told me was less than. Because I was coming in way after the quote-unquote glory days. And it was this young lady running around, screaming, acting like a nut, that just instantaneously made me take note of her. And zany is okay. I consider myself a pretty zany guy. James is on shows with me on a consistent basis. He can vouch for how crazy I can get. And seeing Thea be that way on a professional level just reminds us that it's okay to be a little bit nuts sometimes and have fun. Because at the end of the day, it's what professional wrestling is supposed to be. Fun. Whether it's the independent level or the professional level. Have fun. So those are my 4.
Very good. Just wanted to highlight this comment real quick from Reed. Again, shout out Game Changer World Podcast. The fact that one of their members shows up to our shit every time is nuts to me. Sarah Del Rey, Masimoto, Jackie Moore, and Luna. Really good options. That's a really solid list for a Mount Rushmore as well, Reed.
I love that. Yep.
Really quick, Carlos, what do you think of my list?
I like it. I love it for the reasons that you said. Like the thing I was trying to get across to this, because again, on our Wrestle Collective panel, it's 3 men and 1 woman, and so the thing I was trying to get across to people is women can be role models for men too. And I know it's so easy to sometimes want to sexualize a woman or like her because she's pretty or what things she can do, but when you pay attention to the storylines and you see what they're going through and you see their struggles, like even when you mentioned Jay, that's the reason I kind of did my little foray with Nia Jax, like the mental health and how these women are role models, and they show people like, yeah, I get shit up, at the same time I get up the next day and I get up because I have to. Like no one's gonna. You gotta be in life. You gotta be your biggest advocate. And I think all these women that you said, they all did that. They broke barriers. They showed that the women can do what they can do just as good as the men can. I love all your choices. Really well done. Thank you. And again, honor that you were inspired by us. Like that's what it's about. Let's inspire each other through the content that we make. Because these wrestlers, again, they deserve their flowers, and so thank you for that.
Yeah, 100%. I know it may sound weird to say, but like I originally tuned into AEW because Punk had come back there. I wasn't really watching AEW before that. I tuned in because of Punk. I kept watching because of Jade. There was something about her that first time when I saw her that just pulled me in. She just has that natural charisma. You can like her, you can hate her, you can say she's a crappy wrestler, whatever. More than one thing can be true at once. But there was just something magnetic about her personality that I saw her, I heard that Storm music, and I was just instantly drawn into her. And then just her presentation made me want to see what she was going to do next, from the baddies to her little rivalries with like Bow Wow and everything, and the little hip hoppers that they were bringing in because of her and the crossover appeal. there was something there that really brought me in to what at that point was, not as celebrated women's division, and now AEW's women's division is very much celebrated. So there you go. That
Good
is
stuff, guys.
Thank you. That is going to do it for this month's episode of Hot Dog and a Handshake. Carlos, tell them where they can find you and tell them a little bit about the collective.
So again, Wrestle Collective at WC Worldwide. We'll be doing tomorrow Wrestling with Tism, also running at Chaos after Dynamite. Wrestle Collective Weekly will be on, I think, Friday this week, right? Again, a lot of the guys are going to be down there in Southern California for Revolution Weekend. JJ will be there as well, getting to meet some of the guys. Going to be a fun week of wrestling, guys, but just please support us there. I'm also with the Fans of Pro Wrestling Network as well. You can get me there too. My 2 handles are at C2LS77. I try to keep that more to my wrestling content. I'm also at Conquer the No. That's where I do my engagement stuff. But again, I'm really proud to be a part of both these groups. It's been a year since I've been in the collective. Again, I love representing these guys and girls, or girl, I should say, for now. But, it's like, again, I'm honored that people want to support our content. I'm honored with the things that we've been doing. And I look forward to many more years to come. Love this partnership, with Simply Reliable Studios as well. Again, make your wrestling world what you want it to be. You can make that your ICW a positive thing. You can choose what you decide to shout out and what you let affect you. Just protect your own mental health. Choose to be a positive light in the internet wrestling community.
There you go. And you can find me on X at ROWJJ Williams, at Casa D18 Studio, at SR Studios 2024. ROWJJ Williams is my personal. Casa D18 Studio is the YouTube channel that I run. That's where I usually do most of my engagement. And SR Studios 2024 is the home of the Simply Reliable Studios. That's where we do all our big promotions and announcements. Do want to take a quick moment and go ahead and throw up your own producer man. I want to thank the man in the box who we've heard voice for today, James. You can follow him at jhebertside95 on the X and the YouTube. Just a few days on Saturday, our version, if you will, of the Wrestle Collective Weekly Saturday Shenanigans, we will be having none other than Leva Bates joining us ahead of Poder Mania this week. Of course, known as Blue Pants on the original Black and Gold NXT, she was the librarian on AEW television for a while. She will be a part of Poder Mania and will be joining us this week to discuss her career and everything. And really quickly, James, there is the Poder Mania card, an all-women's showcase that'll be coming to Las Vegas WrestleMania week that we have been helping promote, as mentioned earlier, for the last couple of months. So make sure if you are in Vegas for Mania week on Wednesday, April 15th, 3 o'clock Pacific, you check that show out. Other than that, that is going to wrap things up for this week. For Carlos, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, almost 170 of y'all watching us as we discuss independent wrestling. Thank you so much. We will catch you next month for another episode of Hot Dog and a Handshake.
Ladies and gents, thanks for stopping by. Remember to support your local independent wrestling promotion. And until next time, we will see you on the Simply Reliable Studios and the Wrestle Collective.